How's she going, boys? Mike here. Welcome back to Grampie's workshop. We're continuing on the door project. The door's all installed and buttoned up on the outside. So now we got some inside work to do. We've got to put the insulation back in, get the wallboard back in shape and whatnot. So that's what we're up to today. So here we are inside the camp in the door. It's good and solid. What we have to do though before we start putting the wallboard back on is have to insulate around this door. So there's just the smallest of gaps here, and that's probably not a good thing because it makes it harder to get the insulation, because what we want to do is put insulation in this gap, right? So I just have a paint stick, and what you do is you don't want to overstuff it, because if you overstuff it it'll swell the door and jam, but you just want to put it in there. And the other thing too is you don't want to compact the insulation very tight, because it's the airspace in the insulation that gives it the insulation quality. So you just want to try and gently push it in as easy as you can. Okay, we got the insulation tucked in around the door. Now I have to insulate this cavity here. I'm using the insulation that I took out so I don't have to cut it. It should have pieces to fit right in there. I've got a little story to tell you. My son Derek, of course, was helping the other day putting the door in, and thank him very much for that. But when we were building the camp, he was out here helping us one time, and we were insulating, and he said he's got a problem insulating. He says he was going to write to the insulation company and ask them this question. He said, "I insulated my house, but it's still cold in the winter and it's hot in the summer. Did I put the insulation in backwards?" I like that kind of a sense of humor. Down here at the outlet now, I have to cut a hole in my vapor barrier to get around the outlet and then tape it to the draft box. Don't forget, this is all about keeping drafts out. Now another thing to be wary of, this outlet is live right now, so we have to be careful where we're sticking our little phalanges. We want this draft box to come outside of the vapor barrier. The draft covers are nice, I must say. They prevent the drafts really well, but they're a pain to work with, but they're good. With the tuck tape, just trimming along the edge of that draft box because I have to get a piece of tape down in there. So what I'm going to try and do with this tape is, there's a little bit of the jam proud of the studs, so I'm going to try and just put the tape on it, fold it on there and then onto the jam. So I find when I just rip off a little short piece, it's easier to handle, it doesn't stick together so much. And like I say, I'm trying to get it on the jam first and then on the wall, just to make that little seal that's in there, right? we have our aspenite panel that we have to put back up here. So it's going to fit in something like that. So that looks good up there. Okay, so that's going to fit in good. So what I'm going to do is just measure from the floor and from this side to get the location for my box. I'll take it out and cut it. 13 1/4 from the bottom to 1 1/4 in. And then I can use my duplex box template. 13 1/4 up from the bottom. 1 1/4 in from the side. By box template. I don't know why you didn't say anything. I was doing it right in front of you. I cut this in the wrong side, right? It's supposed to be on this side. The pine is going to go right over that, so that hole isn't really going to be a mortal sin. Although it's kind of a dumb rookie mistake. But anyway, that's what happens, eh? There's always a little curveball coming at you here and there. Anyhow, I'm going to try and do this again. One of them's got to fit. So I think we're going to go with the one on the right. Alright, now what I have to do is, just to be safe, I'm going to go shut the power off of this circuit because I'm going to be removing this plug to tuck it through the hole that I cut. Alright, the power's shut off. I'm going to take my green Robbie, take this outlet out. Alright, here we go. A big step in putting her back together. And hopefully it's the last hole I have to cut. There, the outlet popped right through there. That's just what I wanted to see. Oh no! There's another thing that you don't want to have happen when you're working. Your wallboard to break on you. So there was a catastrophe averted. Yeah, so where that panel fell over, it cracked in 2 different places, one right there, and one right here. You can just barely feel them. We're going to be putting the pine over top of it, so this doesn't have to be slate finish work here. So we're going to start putting the pine back on. I have my electric brad nailer here, and I've got 1-inch brads in it. And I'm going to try and put the old boards back on, or pick through them and find a good one. And when you put the pine on, it's tongue and groove. And I like to nail down through the tongue so that you can't see the nails when they're finished. So another helpful aid for putting up the pine is a little tapping block, and I cut it with the groove end and just cut it flat so I can tap on that. So I'll put that on the piece, over the tongue, tap it in. The key is to make sure that this joint gets good and tight right here. And then we take our nailer and on an angle through the tongue, pop one in. And we just put, I don't know, every foot or so down the run of the tongue of the board. Not much to it. Every once in a while you get a cantankerous one that just doesn't want to go on. So that's where the tapper comes in really handy for that. Here and here. Piece of yeah, that's going to look good, I think. So what's going to happen on this side of the door, because I'm coming from left to right, I'm able to put the groove on the tongue and nail through the tongue. And that's working great because I can hide my nails in the tongue. But when I get to this part, the tongue is going to be going in first, and I can't nail through the groove or else the other tongue won't go in. So I might have to end up face nailing a couple of these fellas, but I hope not. And what I'm going to try and do is, I think I'm going to start and lay out just a phantom piece to try it right here, and then next to that work from right to left in this part to see where this one ends up on the doorway. Because what I want to do is, if there has to be adjustments made in the width of these pieces, I'd like them to be made over top of the door. So it looks like 3 pieces will come right to the edge. And in fact, there's already a mark right there where it'll be. Now, what I might do is, I'm going to get a full piece and start right here next to that corner and make it parallel. And I'll work across and join it in here, cut out for my outlet, and then I'll do the top part glass. It's kind of a fast-backwards way to do it, but in order to make, if I have to make adjustments in the widths, make those above the door where they're less prominent, then that's what I'll do. I'm positioning this, and I want to make sure that this piece is parallel with the existing wall, so I'm going to measure that. So from that shoulder to there is, down there, 7 inches. And down here it's 7 inches. So I'm guessing that's about as close as I can make it. So I'll nail that on there. The good part is, down there at the bottom, where that hole was cut by mistake, I can just say, what hole? Perfect. Kind of scary it's so close. How we get this last piece in, this is the tongue. We're going to put the tongue in this board, right here, right? And I'm going to go up to the barn now and I'm just going to rip the back of this off to, instead of having a groove then, I'm just going to have like a half lap joint. So I'll slip that tongue in there, the half lap will stick down in here, and I'll have to face nail this board. So after cutting it, I'm not sure if you can see that. it's hard to see in the camera with the lighting the way it is, but anyway, I've got a half lap right there, half lap joint. So, the way I'll install this is we'll put the tongue in the groove of the board that's already on the wall, and then lay that in there flush, and the only thing is I'm going to have to face nail, like I say. But before I can do that, I have to cut out for the junction. So the tongue goes in first. It's like TGIF, right? Only its tongue goes in first. I don't care who your uncle is, that looks nice, Bob. Alright, we can turn the power back on. And then the last piece of the puzzle. Look at that, fits pretty good, eh? So there's the crown molding back up, and we got the baseboard in, and that outlet worked great. So that's going to be it for today. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thumbs up me if you do. If you like this series, keep on watching, because I think one more episode ought to do it. So like I say, hope you liked the video. Thumbs up me, hit subscribe, and we'll talk to you. So tomorrow, what's coming up in the video tomorrow? Well, I have to mill some casing to put around my door. I've got some pine in the shop, and I milled all the casing and baseboards in the camp, so I'm going to mill that up. I'll show you how I do that. And we'll put that on, and then I have to varathane the doors, the jamb, the new pieces here, varathane those, and that'll be it. The project will be done. Well, then I have to paint the outside the camp, but that's a different project altogether.